Hello, all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whichever part of the world you are in. Welcome to the second day of the Bengaluru International Short Film Festival. Uh, this is the Let's Include section of the festival. Let's Include is an initiative that aims at keeping inclusion as a central theme. This could be, disability inclusion. It could be LGBTQ inclusion, gender inclusion, and or simply put, knocking off any barriers that are there. That prevents people from being a part of the regular society. So it's all about inclusion. To be different is one thing, but to be excluded is quite another. Just because someone is different, it doesn't mean they should be excluded. Remember, inclusion has to be active. If you're all about passive inclusion, then you're naturally standing on the other side of exclusion. So on that note, today in the panel, I'd be moderating the panel. My name is Justin. Uh, I have with me Gail, and I also have Sirshendu with me. I'd probably give you a brief introduction about them. I'll start with Sirshendu. Um, Sirshendu is a director, writer, and editor. He's currently pursuing a degree in BTech. He was born in Damdam and lives in a small town named Adra in West Bengal. He has a keen interest in filmmaking and tries to make films through self-funding. Sirshendu, do you want to quickly say hi to all our viewers?
Hello everyone, and thank you for watching the BISFF. And I'm great. I'm glad to be a part of this festival.
Thank you. So I'll also quickly introduce the other person in the panel, which is Gail. Gail is best known for her indie short films, uh, Grandfather's Birthday, which was screened at over 60 film festivals, winning 23 awards worldwide, including regional Emmy. Gail has also produced two successful documentary shorts. If there were no Lutherans, would there still be Green Jello? Was selected for inclusion in the permanent film collection at the Library of Congress. Her second documentary, Prisoner 32,232, was added to the permanent film collection at the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington. Gail lives with her husband Jim in rural Minnesota and says, "Oof, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, betcha."
Yeah.
Having been in, yeah, Gail, over to you to say hello to the viewers.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Hello, everyone. I'm talking to you from Minnesota in the USA. It's little after 12 o'clock noon here. So glad to be here.
Thanks, Gail. So what I'd probably do is ask a few basic questions to both of you, and then talk to you particularly about the films that you've made and submitted for this festival. So first of all, I want to talk about inclusion. Given that this section is all about let's include, what does inclusion mean to you, and why is it important? Sirshendu, if we can start with you.
Yeah, like in my neighborhood, there is a person who has an who is unable to speak properly, and is also unable to hear properly. So he didn't get his job till uh, he graduated from college and didn't get his job after till he was 40 years old because of his inability to hear and speak. So my film is also about the inability to hear and speak. So I wanted to make a tribute to that person by making this film. And inclusion means that everyone should be equal, like all the people who are not able to hear properly or speak properly, but their eyesight are really good. Like I had a teacher, music teacher, who was unable to see properly. He was blind, but he was night blind, but his ability to hear was amazing, like so amazing he became a music teacher. So the inability to do inability like a disability or something doesn't mean that he's completely flawed. He's a flawed person. He has some extra talent or some extra thing that he can share with the world. So inclusion means that no one should be left behind. Every person has some ability to do something, and by making this film I wanted to showcase that.
Absolutely, and given the fact that we both are from India, I can relate to what you're saying. And when I say relate, it's not obvious in this video, but I'm a person with a disability too. I'm paralyzed neck downwards. I'm a quadriplegic,
Oh,
so I know what it means, in terms of inclusion and the challenges that people with disabilities face on a daily basis. I think. Uh, it's not only in India but across the world. I think that there needs to be a shift. Focusing on people's abilities than disabilities. I think that's the most important thing. So I'll move on to Gail and try to understand why is inclusion needed, why is it important to you?
I think, well, I'll take you back to a story. Years and years ago, I used to lifeguard, and every Friday we would, I should say, my film, The Wagon, stars Jamie Brewer, who is an actress in the United States who has Down syndrome. She's very popular. She's in American Horror Story, which is a popular show. Anyway, years ago, I would always try to get out of teaching the Down syndrome adults swimming on Friday. And one day it came around to my turn. And so I since then I had so much fun teaching after that, where I had a fear of including them in my life or working with them. And I think from that, it just kept going that I looked at inclusion a little bit differently. And then when it came time to cast this film, we first thought of casting it with an able-bodied person. It is a fiction film, but we first thought of that. And somebody said, no, no, no. This is a story about someone with Down syndrome and with her aunt. And whatever happens with them. And so that's how we went around to casting Jamie Brewer. And oh my gosh, it was phenomenal directing her. She is one class act, one great actress. Really came to the set well prepared and added a lot to the film. So yes, inclusion, you bet. I agree with you. This is also a story about how we perceive love, who can love, and who everybody can love, and everybody deserves to be loved. And that's what this is about as well, The Wagon.
Right. So, Gail, yes. So I did, have the opportunity to watch the film, and since we've already started talking about it, so on that note, see, The Wagon is a familiar story, but what I, still appreciate about it is it has some of these unfamiliar elements, like the lead characters and their outlook towards life. What made you create this film, and could you talk more about bringing that element of unfamiliarity in terms of how people react to situations?
Okay, this is a story of two women who are kind of down and out, and they live on an old rundown riverboat coming up river. The aunt is kind of the caretaker for Claire, played by Jamie Brewer, the actress with Down syndrome. And Claire has got a job. She scoops ice cream. She makes money. She's just an honest, good-hearted soul, where her aunt steals in the store and has kind of sleeps around a little bit and whatever to make a few extra dollars. These are just characters that are a combination of people that I've met or seen throughout my life to make this fiction film. So that this story is an original story by me from that, and it was adapted for the screen by Winona Wilms, who last year won the Academy's award for the top 5 screenwriters in the world. So she adapted it for me. That's the basic story of it. So they're just characters that I've come up with based on people I've really known.
Yeah, yeah. It obviously shows, as I was saying, the story might sound familiar, but the way the lead characters react to different situations and
Yes.
respond to that situation. I think that's what comes across quite different from any other films that I've been seeing. So I think that's the brilliant aspect of that film. So
All
thank
right.
you so much. So
Yeah.
I'll
Thank.
yeah I'll move across to Srishendu. Hey, you were saying when I asked you about inclusion, about the neighbor, is that the person who inspired you to make this movie, or is there any other inspiration? And we all have inspiration, but it needs that spark and passion to push beyond that and actually go ahead and make that film. So, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so the spark, what you mean? Like, I was scrolling through Pinterest and saw a photo of a child who was holding a rocket. You mean the Diwali rockets, that firecracker was holding that. And he, at that moment, I thought I can't make a film about it. So I then thought, what should the film be about? Like, mm, and that was a great picture. Like, that picture was the first inspiration, and the second inspiration was I always wanted to make a film about, like, a film in a sign language. So that also inspired, and I combined those two inspiration to make this film.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not often that you see a film made completely with sign language, and
Yeah.
that really stands out in your movie. So what are the so there was one thing that really caught me in your movie is there is a saying that comes, dreams are for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And that's what your film is all about. Now, there are no common denominators or discrimination when it comes to dreams. Everybody has dreams. So in your opinion, right, when you touch a storyline like that, Srishendu, what makes you talk about dreams and persons with disabilities? And do you think, while everyone can have dream, how easy or difficult it is for a person with a disability to achieve their dreams? Or are there enough platforms to to be even be able to pursue their dreams?
Like I said about my neighbor who was graduated from a great college. Like, he got some disability quota and stuff, and he got a great college, but he didn't get his job until he was 40 years old. So I mean, he was a great student and great person. Like, I know him very well. Like, he was a great person. He is a great person. Sorry, but the just the inability to speak or hear properly uh, made him. I'm not saying weaker, but made him fall down in the society, to some extent. But everybody has the ability to dream, and at last he got his job. Like, he got a really well paid job. So the dreams, his dream did came true. And when he got the job, and that also inspired me. Like, totally three things inspired me for this film, and that part also inspired me that at last his dream did came true. So I wanted to from this film I wanted to showcase that at last his film,
Ah,
at
hi.
last the dream of the person did come true. So from the film
Yeah. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
hello.
Uh,
Hello.
right. So we have another filmmaker, of the film The Routine, with us. I'll get you in a minute, while Krishendu finishes his answer.
Okay.
Yes, Krishendu, go ahead and finish your answer, and
Yeah,
then
like I was saying, that the person at last got the job, so his dream did come true. And in my film, the boy also achieved his dream in his dreams. So there's a saying in Hindi, like, "Subha ke sapne sach hote hain." It means that if you dream something in the morning, it will come true.
Hmm.
right.
So Yeah, so I wanted to say that I wanted to in the film's original title was "Subah ke sapne sach hote hain," means the morning dreams come true.
Dreams do come
So
true. Yeah.
yeah, so the like the saying that he dreamed the dream that he will become a scientist or a astronaut in the morning. So his dream will come true eventually. If not right now, then someday.
Right. Right. Thanks for that. I'd move on to. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Calliope?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Hi.
Calliope.
Hi. Thanks.
Hi.
Thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. Would you like to quickly introduce yourself to our viewers and fellow panelists?
Yes, my name is Calliope Kotula, and I am the writer and the producer of the short film The Routine. The Routine is a short film about an autistic adult, how he lives with his family in Greece, specifically in Athens. In Athens? I'm very glad that I am meeting you. Hello from Greece. I have my little girl with me because at this time I put her at sleep and she will be late at sleep. So I decide to have her with me in order to speak to you.
Absolutely. Could we have her name, please?
Yes, Susanna Maria.
Zana
Say
Maria.
hi.
Hi. How are you?
Hello.
Thanks for joining, both of you. Thanks for joining. So
Thanks.
I'll quickly go across to Gail and continue with one of the questions that I had for her. So Gail, there are certain sections of the society that is often ignored. And your story brings them right to the center. Uh, you know, uh, uh, One, I'd like you to talk more about people who are ignored in the society, and also talk a bit about why could that possibly be happening. Is it because of unconscious bias?
Ah, interesting. I just have a feeling that we put everybody in their own specific box.
Right.
And that's what we've been doing. Well, I mean, I can only speak from here what I see in this country. We put people in various categories, and not only do we put them in special boxes, we say these are on top and here, whatever. And people with disabilities have for a long time been put in a box that says they can't do this, they can't. But we've gotten pretty smart now, and we're starting to see all the great things and the contributions that people with disabilities can make. So, and the people with disabilities are fighting for themselves over
Right.
here too. So laws are being changed, and inclusion is becoming something that we hear all the time. So, does that
All
answer
right.
your question?
Yes, absolutely, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I hope our viewers are watching it, and it helps them open their eyes.
Right.
So now I'd move across to Calliope, and hey, so when I watched the film, I'm curious, right? How did you go about the characterization of Vangelis, the lead character, and what is the inspiration behind writing such a story? If you're talking, you're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Good.
yes, okay. I work with autistic adults in a day center in Athens that called Sirius. I don't know if I can say it in English right. I am an instructor and a healer of autistic. I train them how they can eat, how to be in the toilet, how to socialize. I don't know the right word in English to say that.
Uh,
Um, I have low functional autistic adults in my day center. They don't have word, they can't speak, and we use the teach program. If you see my short film, you will see that they have cards that they tell
Right.
them that they tell them what they have to do. That they tell them what they have to do. And my inspiration was an autistic adult that I have in my classroom, as I can say it, and that is where I write the story. I had him as in my head as the leading person, and the other story is fictional, but the behavior of the bitings, of the hitings, it's true. The only fictional about his behavior is that he can that he can go walk to a motorcycle. What else did you ask me? I'm sorry.
No, in terms of the characterization and what was the inspiration, behind writing this, and I think you perfectly answered that. So thanks for that. So there's another question that I want to add on, and that's something that I already asked to the other panelists. What does inclusion mean to you, and why is it important?
Here in Athens, specifically with autistic adults, we don't know what autistic means, and we don't have much experience. We see them in the street, and we think that they are crazy people, or they are crazy people, or they don't know what they are doing, and we don't have any information about it at all. The reason that I make the short film in Greece is to show people what autism really means, and help them understand the parents, what they are. How can I say it? How difficult it is for these parents to raise such a child in Greece, in Athens, without any, with a little help from the government. And I think that these parents, they are heroes. I don't know if I had an autistic, I'm telling the truth, an autistic child, if I was so strong as that parents are, that I see every day. And I'm so proud of them. I can't say something else.
No, maybe I'm not able to probably fully relate to it, but I can partially relate to it. As a person with a disability myself, I know what my parents had to go through, so I can relate to that, somewhat. So thanks for that answer. Uh, I move to both Gail and Shishendu. One of the commonalities both of you have, you come from, a small rural town, both of you. So how is it being in a rural town, and how is the accessibility, or even social? Is there a lot of social barriers when compared to a bigger city, or what are the attitudinal barriers, or how are people's attitude in terms of diversity and inclusion?
Who would you like to have start?
Why not with you? Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I live in a very small town, only 689 people. But we are only 55 kilometers away from where the George Floyd murder occurred. So that's very much right now. I mean, that's very close. But there's, Justin, where Minneapolis is. So that about 55 kilometers from there. I live in an area where there's a lot of artists, a lot of people who work for themselves. They make pottery, they paint. There's filmmakers, screenwriters out here. That's a very open-minded group. So, but I do not live in a very diverse area. No, it's not very diverse. But I live in an area that's very open to diversity and very welcoming. So, yeah. Is that all over? No, it isn't. It doesn't happen in all small towns in rural Midwestern Minnesota. No.
So. Right. Sirshendu, how about the place where you come from?
Yeah, I come from a really small place. It's Adra. It's nearly 250 kilometers from Kolkata, but it's a really diverse place because it's a railway hub. Like it's a very big railway station, so people from all around the country work here. Like I have people from South India, East India, West, maybe Mumbai, Delhi, all over the country. People come here and work. So it's a pretty diversified place, but open to inclusion, I think not. Like if you have like physical disability, yeah, people will encourage you. People will like as a society, people will encourage you. Like I think here people encourages more than in the big cities, in at least in India. So people are open to that. But like mental disabilities or LGBTQ, then that is a different thing.
Right,
Like
right.
if if someone is like mental disability, people treat it like ye to pagal hai, like he's mad or something. So I think in Bangalore also people say like that. So
I
and
want to agree with Sushendu, because I think mental disabilities, that's still something that we're really working on in this country too. People are
Yeah,
more accepting of a physical disability, but not a mental challenge.
yeah, yeah. True that.
Good
Uh,
point.
yeah.
and
Calliope.
LGBTQ is out of the question. Like for
Yeah,
in current
indeed.
scenario in India, it is out of
I
the
think
question. People
I think we have a long way to go, on that path. So yeah. So moving over to Calliope. When I saw Routine, right? This story, it's a beautiful storyline which portrays happiness, aggression, sexuality. Now, some of these are often overlooked when it comes to people with disability or anybody who's marginalized. Can you talk more about it? What went through when you were writing it? Because the character Wanglis clearly portrays happiness, aggression, sexuality, and all of these aspects which are often overlooked.
Yes. Uh, my autistic older adult in my short film Vangelis has all these aspects that you have said. All the all the autistic, they don't want to ruin their routines. They have also their sexuality, but the most of them, they need to train how they can express their sexuality. And this is a very difficult part for experts to do, especially when the autistic adult is low. He doesn't have, he can't speak, he can't express himself, and you must train him how to express what he wants. Um, I think that I will speak from my behalf and from my country as I see them in Greece, Athens. All the trainers, healers, if I call them right, they are trying to do their best. They are trying to train, to inform, and to make the mental disabilities, as you said before, because here in Athens it's also the same. We might have 4 million or 5 million in Athens, but the mental disabilities is always aside than the physical. If I understand correct what you have said, I think that in all countries the problem is the same. The mental disability is always behind, and they need more information, more inspiration for those people. And if we can, with our short films, to inform all the people that about mental disabilities, I think that we will be in the better way for the future, for our children, and how they can behave to these people and accept them. I think the most important is to accept these people to our society and then to help them. I
Right.
don't know if I asked,
Absolutely. Yeah,
if
yeah,
I,
absolutely.
if I answered your question.
You did, and I'm super glad that Routine brought up all these aspects because, as I said, these are all unspoken usually, and largely across a lot of countries. Sexuality for people with disabilities, it could be mental or physical, is largely ignored, and people with disabilities are often considered asexual, as if they don't have any feelings. So I'm super glad that your storyline brought that up. Before I ask our viewers to put in their questions, I'd move across to all of you and ask what your future plans are, and if there is anything upcoming in your stable. Gail, what are your future plans? Any movies that you're looking at? Are you currently working on? Or are you taking any are you going to create anything in the future, and what would it be like?
That's a good question. Yes, I will. I'm sure I will. Let's see, what's the word for it? Because of the COVID times right now, I do realize that I won't be making something very soon. But I can always be thinking about that, of course. I had the unfortunate happening after we kind of all did our stay at home after March 11th. That's when they kind of announced in this country anyway, here, the stay at home policy. I had one specific funder that really helped me fund my films, and she passed away. So besides COVID and that happened as well. So I'm kind of regrouping going into the future. I have some plans, but nothing that I could really speak to right now. So
Right, right, right. Totally understandable, and I hope things work out well for you, and
thank you.
yeah, things happen in a positive way. So I'd move to Sirshendu and understand what his future projects are.
So just as Gail said, because of the COVID situation, like everything has just stopped. Nothing is currently going on. There were some projects. I was working on a documentary, but because of the COVID situation, it was shut down and we couldn't continue. So if the situation improves, I'll be definitely working on that.
Okay.
Good.
Calliope, any further stories that are coming up? What does the future look like?
We are an independent filmmaking. We are funding our own short films. And yes, we have made now a short film about bullying in schools, bullying and cyberbullying. And we are trying to make the next short film because we are funding our own short films, and it's very, very difficult when you are doing by yourself.
All right. Okay. Uh, so I don't think we have any questions as yet, but I hear from the organizers that a lot of comments congratulating all the three of you for the work that you've done. But before I thank you, here's a note for the viewers. All of you, thank you so much. I hope this discussion has been, beneficial in terms of understanding a different perspective and what inclusion means. If you've not watched the films that have been made, or what these three filmmakers have done, you should go and watch it in the website. And also, there is an option in the website for donation. The proceeds from the donation goes back to the filmmakers, and part of it goes to Vidya Niketan. So I'd urge everyone who's watching this, please go to the website, watch their films, and also contribute generously. With that, thank you to all the three of you for joining this panel discussion, and continue doing what you're doing, the good work that you've been doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Jessica.
for participating to your festival. Also, it's an honor for us.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Good night to all of you, and
Bye bye.
great things, whatever you do.
Thank you, Calliope.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye. Thanks, everyone. And with that, we wrap up. Let's include section of the day two festival. Thank you, everyone, for watching.